Howdy, my name is Michael, and I'm making a game called Radio General. Well, it's been a long time since I made a video devlog. Looking on the previous video devlogs, a lot of progress has been made. I've generally been typing them up and sending out newsletters instead of videos, but we're gonna change that now. We're back to videos today. And today we're gonna be looking at the unit management and dynamic campaign aspect of the game. Before each mission, you have to choose which of your units to bring in. We're looking at the unit management screen right before we start a mission. So here, probably the first thing you'd do is you'd read the briefing. Well, I'm not going to make you read the briefing this time, but we'll go over what units we're going to pick for this mission and what we can see from there. First off, in the middle column here, we have a list of available units. And we can filter different types of units. We have lots of different types. But for this mission, it looks like we're going to need infantry, engineers, tanks, and artillery. Now, we have a number of units here, and if we click on one, we can actually see the stats for each unit on the left here. So these 48 Highlanders, we click on them. We can see some stats here. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but there's one unique thing that sets this game, well, there's many unique things that sets this game apart, but here's one. Each unit has a leadership personality, a leader personality. That's how their commanding officer orders the unit around, what their style is. This guy's style is conservative, so he says, don't waste any ammo, and each leadership personality confers both a positive and a negative buff to the unit. So this unit doesn't attack as far away because it wants to save ammo, but as a result, the unit is more dug in. So we can see here, we see a green, we have 15% bonus defense. Normally, you'd have 0% defense, at least by default, for this level 1 infantry. However, its attack range is a bit lower than the others. Let's take a look at some other units. So here, the West Nova Scotia Infantry, they're apparently trigger happy. These guys actually like attacking units that are far away, but as a result, their shots aren't terribly accurate, so they do less damage. So they can shoot further away, but their damage is lowered. Okay? So based on these differences, base differences in units, you want to choose them depending on the situation in each mission. Okay? Additionally, I've actually played a few missions with these units before. Again, these units are going to be with you the entire campaign. Anytime you use a unit, they'll become exhausted here. And exhausted units take a variety of very bad penalties. So minus 30% movement speed, minus 20% damage, minus 20% morale. That's pretty bad. So units used in a mission become exhausted. And if you use them again in the next mission, they'll be exhausted. However, if you don't use them in the next mission, they'll rest and they won't be exhausted. So that's very much an XCOM style squad management thing. Additionally, units can become under strength if they take too many casualties, and you have to leave them out of missions for them to rest and train new recruits. From a previous mission, I also, my units have gained some veterancy here. So units will gain experience here, and they'll gain levels. When you gain a level, you can spend them these points on different perks that will upgrade the unit in some way. So some of them are pretty basic. Some movement speed, some damage, some defense. However, when you get to the very high levels here, the units become much more specialized here. So you can choose between either making them shock troops or line infantry who like sitting in cover. And the way leveling up works is you have to take a perk of the previous level in order to access the next level. So here you have to take a level 1 perk, then you have to take a level 2 perk, before you get a level 3 perk. And you don't have to, there's no lines or anything here. You can take them in whichever order you like. So if this unit gained one more level, we'd finally be able to get a level 4 ability. Alright. And each unit type does have their own unique skill tree. So if we look at the tanks here, I'm going to give him a few levels because I can cheat like that. So let's kit him out. There we go. Okay. Maybe one more. There we go. Okay. So these tanks here, they have a completely different skill tree than the infantry, though, I mean, a lot of them, of course, are shared, damage, defense, movement, speed, but there are some quite different ones here. And, of course, again, each unit type has their own specific skill tree. Okay, so now, actually choosing units for a mission, well, I'll tell you a little bit about this mission. This is an attack mission where we need to take a number of fortified towns. The fortified hill towns of Asoro, Leonfort, and Nisoria. This is in Sicily. Alright, and here, we can see our objectives here. So it's going to be a lot of attacking. So probably my first units here should be all about attack and movement speed. So let's take a look at my engineers first, since that's my first one. Alright, so we only have 3, they're all level 1, and there's only 2 different leadership personality types here for these guys. Okay, they can attack further, that's alright. Wily. Okay. Slowly gains camouflage while not moving. Well, I kind of want my engineers to be moving more quickly, and I think a longer attack range is just fine for that. We want them to be far away from the enemy. That's fine if they're doing less damage. As long as they aren't taking damage themselves, that's fine by me. Okay. Now for my infantry here. These guys are exhausted, so we're not going to take any of these guys. The conservative guys, they don't attack very far, but they're good at defense. I'm not sure if we want that. What about the sneaky guys? They get camouflage, slow movement speed. No, we kind of want people to move fast. Looks like we might have to go with the trigger happy. That's okay if they're farther away. They do less damage, but we do get to outrange the enemy a little bit. That sounds fine to me. Alright, now we have 2 different artillery units here. Rugged, moves uphill 50% faster, less morale. That sounds pretty good because I don't anticipate my artillery getting hit, so moving faster is pretty good. What about popular? Unlucky events happen more often, plus 10% damage. Okay. Well, I think we're just going to take the movement speed. In case I need to move them, this map is going to have a lot of hills, so moving them uphill faster sounds good to me. Alright, what about tanks? We got trigger happy, timid, and sneaky. Timid, what about you? Plus 20% defense from landmarks, minus 30% morale. Well, okay, if they get to a town, they're good, but they're not great in taking the town. What about sneaky? That's not terrible. I think we're probably going to go with trigger happy again for the tanks. Alright, now for some of our last units here, we can see that these reinforcements are arriving later in the mission. This shows the time that they're arriving, so this is coming an hour in, 2 hours in, 4 hours in, 8 hours in. So this guy's coming in the rear. He may not get much action, so I'm okay with him basically sitting behind the lines and holding anything that I've already captured. So I think a timid guy is pretty good because he's going to be just sitting in a town that we've already taken. Sure, you have less morale, but he's pretty defensive, so we're going to put a timid infantry in the back. And now, lastly, we have our reserves here. Reserves can be deployed at any time, and there's no penalty to do it, but, you know, if you're a proud person, you'll say, bah, I don't need any reserves. But if you do need the help, there's nothing wrong with calling them in. So we may or may not need these guys, so I'm not going to put too much thought into what perks I give these guys. Alright, so we've just kitted out our units for this mission, and that'll be it for today. Thanks for tuning in.